Let us start by thanking each of you for being here today. And let me just say, as chairman, it is a pleasure for we, the commissioners for the Department of Transportation, to be able to stand together to thank the legislature for all the support as well as our fellow delegation that they have given us. Equally important is good, and we are very appreciative of the fact that we're able to stand before the public and provide the public with the needs of the transportation, and to let the public know that as a result of the fact that we need recurring funds, that all the things that we're doing, we, the Department of Transportation, is still facing a crisis because we need recurring funds. And it's so important. So at this particular point, I would like to yield to my colleague, Commissioner Busby, for comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to press for being here today and those standing behind us in support of our efforts. The citizens of Mississippi entrusted the three of us commissioners to care, maintenance, and growth of our state's infrastructure. Our most valuable asset, road and bridge infrastructure, 30,000 miles of road and almost 6,000 bridges at a value of about $66 billion. We work every day with our MDOT family and our contractor families to keep our roads safe, to keep our roads available for commerce and progress and economic growth. Without a solid road and bridge infrastructure, this would not be possible. And without increased, recurring, dependable funding, our infrastructure is in jeopardy. The primary source of this funding is fuel tax, which has remained unchanged at 18.5 cents per gallon since 1987. Today's vehicles have greater fuel economy, which means that individuals today pay less to drive on our roads than they did in 1987. If you had a half-ton pickup in 1987, you would have paid about $264 in fuel tax through the year. Today, you would pay $185. The increased usage, we have 300,000 more vehicles on our roads today than we did in 1987. The increased usage, low revenue, and inflation are creating a dire situation for our infrastructure. One-time monies provided by our legislature allowed us to begin capacity projects again that had been shelved for 10 years due to lack of funding. Without sustained funding, this program will once again have to be halted. The cost of maintaining our system has risen with inflation like everything else. The lottery funds from the 2018 special session are helping, but we still fall woefully short on the dollars needed to keep our roads in good repair. Allowing roadways and their beds to degrade to the point that both must be replaced will be a financial deficit that is insurmountable. The responsibilities of our legislature are daunting, and these times provide more challenges than most. They have an extremely important issues to deal with, such as school funding, Medicaid, the public retirement system. Maintaining our infrastructure system and constructing new where our safety is involved and where economic growth is available is equally as important and a core function of government. If we don't fix our roads and bridges, no one else is going to come behind us and do it. I wish to thank the members of our legislature who have tried to address this issue and have drafted bills that would do just as what was needed. I'd specifically like to thank Representative Massengill, Representative Lamar, and Speaker White for their efforts, along with Senator Hobson and Senator Branning, and all the members of both chambers who supported their efforts. I would implore the legislature to find creative ways to avert this crisis. Many good ideas for funding mechanisms have been discussed. Most did not call for increasing taxes. The cost of fixing this issue will not be small, but it will be minuscule when compared to the price of doing nothing. Now I'd like to turn the podium over to Northern District Commissioner John Caldwell.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's good to be here. I'm going to speak from the heart a little bit, if you don't mind, but one thing I've been impressed with since I got into government is the people across the street are good people, doing good work for the taxpayers. But they're doing it in a screwed up system that leaves us shorthanded on money and assets to take care of the roads and bridges in this state. If this press conference was me and it was on the military two-way radio, it'd sound something like this. Interrogative, Whiskey Tango, Foxtrot, over. And then we just stand and wait. And that's all it would be. And we're kind of waiting now. And we're waiting, but our patience is waning. It is high time that our Mississippi highways become everyone's priority. Year after year, other issues suck the oxygen, money, and blood from the room, and we're left. Pot, PERS, politicians pay. Where's the money for paving and maintenance and construction that we need? That's what we're talking about. When I get on the road, I see people every day, and they're asking about the roads. What about the money? What about the money for the roads? What about the money for the roads? And I don't have them a good answer. As I drive the roads of North Mississippi, I realize that our bridges are failing, our roads are crumbling, and traffic is coming to a standstill, and we got to do something about it. So do we want to fix our roads or not? Mayors, do we want to fix our roads? I know you want to fix the roads because you told me. Supervisors, you want to fix the highways? I know because you told me. School bus drivers, you want to fix the highways? I know you do. You told me. Truck drivers, loggers, farmers, you want to fix the highways? I know you do because you told me. Parents of teenagers, university student drivers, you want to fix the highways? I know you do because you told me. Doctors, dentists, nurses, you want to fix the highways? I know you do because you told me. Retirees, senior citizens, veterans, you want to fix the highways? I know you do because you told me. Legislators, representatives, senators, lieutenant governor, you want to fix the highways? I know you do. Damn it, you told me. But you got to do it. And it's not going to get done by itself. So everybody tells me we want to fix the highways. Let me tell you about there's a country song out there. I don't want to get the lady's name that sings it wrong, and I'm not singing it for you today. But the lyric says, talk is cheap, and baby, time's expensive, so why wait another minute more? So why are we waiting? What are we waiting on? It is high time that our Mississippi highways, your Mississippi highways, become everyone's priority. And now, Commissioner Simmons, I'll hand it to you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Commissioner Caldwell scared me for a quick second when I thought he was getting ready to sing. Let me just say, I said in my opening remarks that we are facing a crisis. And let me just kind of bite into that a little bit based on what you've heard from the two commissioners. We're facing a crisis. The legislature has been good. They gave us $450 million in capacity money last year, another $35 million the year before last. Congress has passed the Infrastructure Job Act, and we have realized, we're going to realize about $1 billion out of those dollars coming in the formula. So we are very grateful for that. But we are facing a crisis because in addition to that, here in the state level, we saw an increase in the weights to about 88,000 tons for our highways, which means there's going to be destruction on those highways that's already inadequate and the bridges. In addition to that, Congress is considering for the interstate system putting 88,000 tons on it, which means that those trucks are going to be getting off the interstate and getting onto our system. When you add that weight, it creates a problem, and not having the funding to do so creates a serious problem and a crisis that we are talking about we're leading into. In addition to that, let me just say, I was in the legislature for 26 years, along with my colleague, and he and I, Busby, served as chairperson on the Senate and the House side in putting dollars into the Department of Transportation. The only thing we could do was to give the Department of Transportation enough money to survive and kick the can down the road. We got into a maintenance mode where we was not doing any capacity projects. The money that we received recently puts us in a position to do that, but it puts us into a position of investing in right-of-ways, acquisition, into design, but we're not going to be able to complete those projects. We need recurring dollars. And one good example, as I close with it, is what we did in 2018. We used as an example where we could put monies into the counties and municipalities without increasing taxes. The money was coming in through what is referred to as the use tax. And we created a formula where we, the legislature, gave to the counties 15% of those dollars and 15% to the municipalities and 5% to state aid. Since that time, the two payments that goes out in January and in July, the municipalities has received over $352 million. The counties has received over $352 million, and state aid $118 million. Department of Transportation could be put into a similar formula into that process. And we had a couple of bills that have been introduced this year on the Senate side by Senator Hobson and Senator Brannon to start us moving in that direction. That would be just one way of doing it without raising taxes. We look forward to having more conversation with the legislation about a diversion use tax that would give us the revenue, because once again, as the commissioners indicated, we are facing a crisis, and if we don't do something good for the state of Mississippi, we're going to have a problem. The last thing I would say to you in that regard, a project that we're working on right now, Highway 82 in Washington County. The Department of Transportation commissioners before us committed to funding that project and went out and did right away. They built bridges, but had to abandon that project because they did not have capacity money. And for 20 years, that project stayed on the books. We, the commissioners, came in a few years ago and we moved that project to construction. It's costing us much more money to build today than it would have done then. And with inflation going where it is, when we look in the future, the capacity projects that we delay today is only going to cost us more money and delay the process of putting Mississippi where it should be in recruiting industry and maintaining industry. This is the time we would like to open the floor if any of you have questions.
Just to get a really clear understanding, can you explain why y'all are in a crisis? Like, can you tell me, like, in a sentence, why y'all are, why Mississippi is having a crisis?
Mississippi is facing a crisis because we don't have the recurring fund. We operate in the Senator Busby, Commissioner Busby indicated on 1987 revenue, except for the lottery that came in and the additional one-time money that came. So we don't have the ability to plan and build. These individuals who are standing behind us, the family, the industry, can't plan and build their industry up. So as a result of it, when we do get an ability to do a project, it costs more money to do it. And if you want to think about a holistic approach to the capacity projects, the figure that we are currently using is about $9 billion over a long period of time. We don't need all that money now, but the cost of doing it is what's putting us in a situation of having a crisis, and the inability to have recurring dollars do not allow us to plan.
Commissioner, we're here at the crossroads, I-20 and I-55. As a matter of fact, in our roads, they're overlaying 20 right now. How long would that help, and is that just putting a Band-Aid on cancer?
No, it's not putting a Band-Aid because we are paving, we are maintaining. That's part of the maintenance. And part of the lack of having maintenance dollars, we can't apply the money, whether it be in the southern district, the northern district, or the central district. I-20 is one that's very visible to you all in this particular area, and it's one that's got in bad shape and in need of maintenance. And we'll put a contract in place to pave that project. We're also going to have to come back and put a contract in place to enhance the interchanges to make it safer, as well as putting lighting and replacing the lighting on it. When you get over to the other parts of Interstate 20 going toward Vicksburg, we have paving going on for maintenance, but we also have a major need for a capacity projects to increase, enhance the safety in that particular those projects that'll cost us between $800 million and $1 billion. And these gentlemen will have the same kind of problems in their areas. Would you like to?
No.
Okay.
Commissioner, we talk about those numbers, but for the commuters, how impactful and what are those negative impacts that we are expecting if you are not getting those reoccurring funds?
I'm going to yield to commissioners.
All right, first of all, the negative would be a lot worse if it wasn't for the legislature the last several sessions that brought us some money. And certainly the $80 million from the lottery was a huge help. The one-time money has been a huge help. That's more of what was referenced as a Band-Aid versus, getting to the cure. But the kind of impacts that we could have is much like what you saw in the bridge world. when statewide, everybody was saying, hey, we're going to quit getting federal money because we're not doing what's required of us. So if we don't take care of our highways as it's required, then our money's in jeopardy. So there's some real challenges that we have ahead. And as we do this, and back to her question, if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. So we're saying transportation needs to be the priority because it's not going to fix itself. Thank you, sir.
Commissioner, another one from me. When we talk about these recurring funds, we talked about what y'all got last year, near $2 billion, $450 million for those capacity projects. What is a figure? I know in the past y'all have said y'all don't really care about the figure. What is a figure that y'all would like to see if y'all were to get those recurring funds?
If we had a magic wand, we would say we need $9 billion for capacity. We need about $400 million for maintenance because we are so far behind. The lottery money is helping us with maintenance because we committed the $80 million. That's the cap that we get. As you well know, the lottery was receiving last year about $150+ million, but we're getting $80 million. We are capped at that. But we are applying that, but we still have a need for our maintenance projects. So the magic number, we're going to accept what we get because, again, it's the legislators who are here with us and the legislators over in the Capitol who are the one responsible for appropriating the money. But we're standing here today saying to you, the public, and to them that we have a great need to build capacity, $9 billion plus. We have a great need to maintain over $400 million annual recurring money to do that.
Are you hoping that any appropriations will be made this session? We're already pretty far into the extended session, set to end in just a couple weeks now. So are y'all hoping for something to happen this session or next year?
We have served in the Senate for 26 years, and my colleague, Commissioner Busby, for the number of years that he was there, we have hope until sine die. So we don't ever give up hope. We're going to keep pushing and pulling the lever to say, leave it to say that we need. And if we can get enough legislators in the leadership to agree with us, we are looking for appropriation to come, either in one-time monies again or in recurring dollars that we need that we keep speaking of year after year.
I just have one more. For either of you, you were mentioning impacts on industry. This session's kind of been defined by industrial projects and trying to increase in industry in the state of Mississippi. So if this crisis were to play out how y'all are afraid of, how would that impact future industrial projects?
Oh, it would significantly slow down economic growth across the state. Site selection experts do not bet on what's to come. The site selection experts that we work with in government day to day, they want to see it there. They want to see that it's ready. The site has got to be ready. We simply don't have the funds to do that right now.
Let me add, that day's not coming, that day's here. We're losing economic development prospects because we don't have the capacity. I-55 North is a great example of that. And the struggle is, they're going to come in with another 500 to 1,000 more trucks per day. They want to know that truck can get on the interstate and move, not get on the interstate and park. So it's already here today. And so those impacts we're feeling, they're going to continue to get worse unless we make them better. And that's why we're here.
We want to certainly thank each of you for coming to participate in this. And once again, we're saying to our legislative body that we need recurring dollars into the public so that you fully understand that we are facing a crisis and it's only going to get worse unless we get the revenue needed recurring on a daily basis, on a yearly basis to make it work for us. Again, we want to thank all of those who are standing behind us for your support and what you're doing. And we are here today to make Mississippi a better place. Thank you.